Welcome back. I haven't been able to put out as many videos lately because I'm working on a particular homicide case of a young boy, which is taking a lot of time. So I apologise for that. All right, let's talk about self-correction when somebody is actually recalling a historical event or a story and why they do it. Have you ever noticed that truthful people often stop themselves mid-story? They'll say things like, hang on, no, that's not right. Actually, let me correct that. Now, most people think that's a sign of uncertainty, but surprisingly, it can sometimes be a sign of genuine memory retrieval. Hi, I'm Steve Van Appen, and today we're looking at why real memories often contain corrections. But before we start, no single behaviour proves deception on its own. We always look for patterns across multiple behaviours and the surrounding context. Let's get into it. Now, imagine I ask you, what did you do last Saturday? If you're relying on memory, you'll probably start searching mentally as to what happened. You'll retrieve pieces of information, you'll organise them, and sometimes you'll realise you've got something wrong. Now, that's normal because memory isn't a recording. Memory is a reconstruction. Researchers have known for decades that when we recall an event, we're rebuilding it, not replaying it. And that process isn't always smooth. Let me show you. Imagine somebody says, I left work around 6. Oh, actually, no, it was closer to 5:30. Interesting. Why? Because they corrected themselves. Now, compare that with somebody who delivers a flawless story from beginning to end, every time, without hesitation, without revision, without correction. Possible? Of course. But genuine memory often contains little adjustments, little refinements, little moments where the brain says, wait a minute, that's not quite right. Researchers involved in criteria-based content analysis found that spontaneous corrections can sometimes support experiential credibility. Why? Because people recalling genuine experiences are often focused on accuracy, not performance. And that's what deceptive people do. They try to convince you that what they're saying is true and they perform. Let me give you another example. Imagine somebody says, we met at the restaurant. Actually, no, it wasn't the restaurant, it was the cafe next door. Now, that correction on its own wasn't really necessary. Nobody really forced them to make it, but they made it anyway, because accuracy mattered more than appearance. Now, compare that to somebody who seems committed to every single detail, even when details don't quite fit or they're contradictory. Sometimes deceptive people avoid corrections because they worry that changing something will make them look odd or suspicious. Ironically, that concern can make their story appear overly rigid. Again, this isn't proof. Truthful people can be mistaken, and deceptive people can correct themselves also. That's why we never rely on one behaviour. But genuine memory retrieval often produces natural adjustments because the goal is accuracy, not perfection. Let's look at one final example. Imagine someone says, I think there were 3 people there. No, actually there were 4. That tiny correction may seem insignificant, but it can tell us something important. The person is actively searching memory, not simply reciting a prepared narrative. And that's what makes it interesting. So let's recap. Watch for spontaneous corrections, self-adjustments, clarifications, refinements, and people who prioritize accuracy over appearance. Because real memories aren't perfect, they're reconstructed. And sometimes the correction is exactly what makes the story feel and sound real. Just some quick references: Stella and Koken, CBCA Research, Johnson and Ray, Reality Monitoring, and Albert Vridge, Detecting Lies and Deceit. If you found this information useful, let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone who you think needs it, because once you understand human behaviour, you start hearing things very differently.